February 19th, 2020. It was just after sunrise in Brisbane, a quiet suburban street. Parents heading to work, kids getting ready for school. Inside a parked car, a mother buckled in her 3 children. Seconds later, neighbors would hear screams that a man washing his car looked up to see flames exploding from a vehicle. A woman, completely engulfed in fire, stumbling into the street. She was screaming one thing: "My kids." This was not an accident. This was the final act of a nightmare that had been building for years. This is the story of Hannah Clarke. Hannah Clarke was born in 1988 in Brisbane, Australia. From a young age, she stood out, confident, athletic, warm, protective of her younger brother. She excelled in trampoline gymnastics and represented her state as a teenager. In her final year of school, she was chosen as school captain, a role reserved for students admired and trusted. She loved children. She dreamed of becoming a mother. After school, she began coaching gymnastics at a local youth club. That's where she met a man who would change her life forever. His name was Rowan Baxter, older, charismatic, former rugby player from New Zealand, or at least, that's how he introduced himself. But behind the confident exterior was something darker. Rowan had already been married once. That marriage ended under troubling circumstances: control, intimidation, emotional manipulation. When he met Hannah, he was still legally married. He told her the relationship was over, that he was staying only for his son. Within months, he left his wife and fully pursued Hannah. And that's when the control began again. 6 months into their relationship, Hannah discovered she was pregnant. Rowan did not celebrate. Instead, he pressured her to end the pregnancy. He said she was too young, not ready. But Hannah wanted the baby. In 2012, they married. Over the next few years, they had 3 children: Aaliyah, Lyanna, Trey. To outsiders, they looked like a fitness-focused family. They even opened a gym together. But inside the home, something was shifting. Rowan became increasingly possessive. He demanded access to her social media. Eventually, she wasn't allowed her own account. That he isolated her from friends and family. If the children didn't clean up fast enough, he threw their toys away. That if Hannah disagreed with him, arguments would last for hours. That he secretly recorded her conversations. That he monitored her movements. He controlled intimacy in the relationship, demanding compliance. This wasn't just jealousy. It was coercive control. Hannah began living in constant anxiety. On one occasion, after an argument, Rowan stormed out. She feared he might harm himself, or worse. She later revealed he had described violent fantasies about killing his former partner. That terrified her. By late 2019, she knew she had to leave. Quietly, carefully, she created an escape plan. In December, she took the children and moved into her parents' home. Rowan was furious once she left. His behavior intensified. That he showed up unexpectedly. That he allegedly tracked her. He manipulated custody arrangements. There were confrontations, police involvement, court orders. In January 2020, a domestic violence order was granted in Hannah's favor. But even then, he still had scheduled time with the children. Friends later said Hannah had a feeling something terrible was coming. She told her mother she needed to write a will, just in case. She feared that if Rowan couldn't control her, he might destroy everything. That Wednesday morning started normally. Gym, coffee, school drop off. At 7:20 a.m., Hannah secured her children into the car. Suddenly, Rowan appeared. That he forced his way into the passenger seat. He was carrying a container filled with gasoline. That he ordered her to drive. She screamed for help. Moments later, witnesses saw him pour fuel inside the vehicle. Hannah managed to stop near a neighbor. She cried out, "Call the police. He's going to kill me." Then, ignition, flames consumed the car instantly. Hannah escaped. Burning, neighbors rushed to help, but the fire was too intense. Inside the vehicle were 3 small children. Rowan later fatally stabbed himself at the scene. Hannah suffered catastrophic burns before losing consciousness. She reportedly asked about her children. She was transported to hospital. That afternoon, she passed away. All 3 children, Aaliyah, Lyanna, and Trey, also died from the fire. Australia was devastated. The tragedy sparked national outrage. How had the warning signs been missed? Why wasn't coercive control taken more seriously? Following the case, Queensland strengthened laws around coercive control and domestic violence risk assessment. But for one family, change came too late. Hannah Clarke was more than a headline. She was a daughter, a sister, a mother who fought to protect her children until her final breath. Her story forced a country to confront an uncomfortable truth. Domestic abuse is not always physical. Control can be just as deadly. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please reach out to local support services. Sometimes the most dangerous moment is when someone tries to leave.